The mob farm in Minecraft is hands down the most important farm that you can build in the game. They're great for early or late game, and they give you things like gunpowder, string, arrows, bones, everything that you're gonna need. So today, I'm gonna give you guys the best mob XP farm for Minecraft Bedrock Edition. Before we get started with this farm, make sure you do not build it in a river biome like you can see behind me here. I'm okay where I am right now because this is a plains, but if you build it over top of a river, no mobs will ever spawn as they can't spawn in rivers. So make sure you don't build it there. As well, we're going to build this farm 100 blocks into the air. If you don't feel like doing that, you're either going to have to spawn proof the ground or go over top of an ocean where it's already spawn proofed. But like I just mentioned, you can see in the top left, I'm at Y level 82, so you want to go 100 blocks into the air. So for me, that's Y level 182. Once you're 100 blocks into the air, you're going to want to head on back down to the bottom, just like that. And then go ahead and take some ladders and place them all the way back up to get up and down from the farm. You don't have to use ladders. If you want to use a bubble elevator, an elytra, scaffolding, anything like that, that'll work too. Ladders are just the cheapest option. Once you've got your ladders going up to the top of your pillar, we can go ahead and get started on the actual farm. First thing you want to do is go 2 blocks to one side and 1 block to the other side. Then go 5 blocks out in this direction, and then fill this area in so you have a 4x6 rectangle at the top of your pillar here. Now what you want to do is come back to the front, look in this direction, and then break these 4 blocks. Break the 2 blocks in front of them as well, and then temporarily break these 2, although we will be replacing those later. You want to place 1 temporary block there, and then place your 2 chests off of that temporary block like that. Now what you want to do is take your 4 hoppers and lead them all into that chest, and then place 4 mud blocks on top of that. The reason we have mud blocks here is so that all of the items can actually fall through and still be picked up through the block, but the XP will not get stuck in the hopper. If you don't have mud blocks and you want to use a hopper here, you can, or you can put solid blocks and then just have a hopper minecart underneath. But if you don't want to do all of that, this is how I like to have it. Now again, we're going to temporarily place 2 blocks there, but we'll break them after. What you want to do is place 1 piston right there, turn and place a piston, turn and place a piston, turn and place a piston, just like that. Now take an observer and place it like that so the arrow is facing into the piston and you can see the face on the other side. So 1 there, and then 1 like that. And then finally you want to take a redstone torch, place it on the side of the piston, and every time you'll see 1 more piston is extended. So 3 pistons, and then eventually it goes in a loop like this, and then place a lever on the front to turn it on and off. You can now go ahead and break these 2 blocks so you can still open up this chest, and then place a second block there so you don't fall. Of course, you can change this design however you want, but this way you can still stand here, collect the XP, and easily grab the drops. Now what you want to do is build up 1 level on this, just like that, and then right here you want to place a temporary block with 2 slabs, just like that, so you can still grab the XP, and you can still see the mobs dying. You don't have to do this, but I just like how this looks. Now from here you want to take this up another 19 blocks, so in total it's 21 blocks tall. While I was building this chamber, I did fill in the corners, although that just takes extra blocks and it doesn't actually change the rate to the farm, so I would recommend not having these corners here. I just think it looks a lot nicer. But once you're up to this level, we can go ahead and get started on the first spawning platform. So what you want to do is come to both of these blocks on all 4 sides and build out 7. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, like that. And then do that for all 4 sides. 7, there you go. And now once you have an area that looks like this, you want to go out 1 block and up 1 block, and then make a 2-high wall around this shape that we've just made. If you filled in the corners, just go over top of the corner like that. Really quickly, I put out a message on my Discord channel and my YouTube community tab saying if somebody made me fan art, I'd put it in my next video. And the submissions were awesome. Some of these look so cool. So yeah, shout out to these guys. So far, your farm should be looking like this. Next, what you want to do is make an infinite water source off to the side of your build, because for this next part, we are going to need 8 buckets of water. So there you go, making an infinite water source. You can now take 2 buckets and place them on the end of each one of these paths, making sure that they flow and they stop right before they lead into here. If they stop too early or they go too far, you want to make sure that this stretch here is 8 blocks. I feel like this is also a good time to mention, if something's not lining up in your world, if you just want to make sure the farm works before you actually build it, anything like that, you could download this exact world that I'm playing on here. It's the first link in the description. Once you've placed down all of your water buckets, you can of course come over here and break your infinite water source, and we can get started on the next part of the build. What you want to do is take all of these corners, so this one to this one, that one to that one, that to that, and that to that, And then you want to fill in these corners here like this, and then make a platform here. This is where the mobs are going to spawn to eventually walk over to this water and then down our killing chamber. So fill in all 4 of these corners. Once you have your farm looking like this, the next thing you want to do is take either a trapdoor and place it here, or take a coral fan and place it down. The reason we do this is because the mobs, when they spawn up here, will think that these are full blocks, try to walk onto them, and then walk into the water and down our killing chamber. So either one of these works. This one will be slightly better because if you go ahead and make second layers of this farm, if the mobs walk down, they might accidentally land on the trapdoor and then have to pathfind again into the water. It's very, very slight, so it's not worth going out of your way to get the coral fans. But if you have more of them than trapdoors, that'll work as well. I would recommend doing that. But for me, I'm just going to do trapdoors. So you want to place one trapdoor on all of these blocks and then go ahead and open them up and do that for every single spot. You should now have all of your trapdoors or your coral fans in this pattern like this. And now we're going to go ahead and make the walls around our platform. So what you want to do, if you notice there is an extra block on the side here before we actually get to the water, that is where you want to make a 2-high wall. So around this entire thing, go ahead and make yourself a 2-high wall. Now that your farm is looking like this, we have to make a decision. I highly recommend making another layer to this farm, and I'm going to show you how to do that right now. If you don't want to make another layer, you can just go ahead, come out here and make a roof over top of the thing, and the farm is done. But if you even add 1 second layer, it'll double the rates of the farm. It'll make the farm so much more efficient. I'm actually going to go ahead and add 6 layers to this farm, because obviously the more layers you have, the more efficient the farm is going to be. Now, when you get too high into these layers, if the mobs walk from this layer straight down, they're going to die to the fall. But most of the time, they're going to end up walking into the water and then falling down, which means they will be fine. So you can really make this as high as you want. The only limitation to how high you can make this farm is your simulation distance. So for me, my simulation distance is on 4, which means I can go 64 blocks into the air. So from the ground to my top layer shouldn't be higher than 64 blocks. To make a second layer though, all you have to do is go up 1 block and then out 1 block like that, and then copy this exact same platform here with the trapdoors at this height. As you can see, I've gone ahead and made myself a second layer. The idea is the mobs on this top layer are going to fall straight down to this water. So make sure that these line up here. As well, you're going to want to make sure that when you build it, this is 2 blocks high so Enderman can't spawn. Now, like I mentioned, I'm going to build this up 4 more layers for a total of 6, but you can do them as high as you want, up to 64 blocks from where you're AFKing. As you can see behind me here, I do have this huge mob farm now, which is going to produce thousands of items every hour. You can see I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 layers on here, all of them perfectly lining up over top of each other. So even the mobs on this highest layer are just going to fall straight down into the water. Now, like I mentioned, sometimes they might just jump straight down there and die to the fall, and you won't get the XP, but that is okay because most of the times they're going to walk into the water first, and they will be fine by the time they get down there. So once you've finished your final layer, what you want to do is go ahead and put a roof over top of this. So I actually need to first make this a 2nd block high. Like I showed you before, to make the roof, all you have to do is go up 1 block and out 1 block like that, and then make a roof over top. It's not very complicated. My roof over top of the farm is now completed, and if I come inside and close this off, you can see just how dark it is inside of here, confirming that mobs are going to be able to spawn. Now, one of the final things we're going to do is place a bunch of torches up on the top here to make sure that when it's nighttime, no mobs spawn up here, they all spawn inside of our farm. We want to spawn proof everywhere that's not in the farm to make sure the rates are the best that they can possibly be, sorry. So there you go, I think that looks pretty good with the torches on top. And now the final thing you want to do is come down to this area here and also place some torches to make sure that no mobs spawn. One final thing, you're going to want to go ahead and grab your trident and throw it actually into one of those pistons, and you can see mobs are already starting to spawn. And then all you have to do is flick the trident killer on. When they fall down, they're not going to die to the fall, but they're going to be 1 hit. You can stand here, collect the XP, and the drops are going to go into this chest. There just didn't happen to be any drops from those zombies, but you guys saw them dying. They'll die and go in here. You do want to be careful when you're here though, because if you stand fully in this corner, you are actually going to pick up the trident. So just stand about here. You'll still be able to grab the XP, but you won't grab the trident on the inside. Now, if you want to increase the rates of the farm even more, since we added a trident killer down here, you can hold out a looting 3 sword. Since we threw down this trident, not only are we still going to be able to grab the XP, but the looting 3 effect is going to be applied. If I go into survival mode, you can see, okay, well, I have 22 levels, but I was at 17 before I started this farm. So I've gotten 5 levels at a high level point in maybe a minute of having this farm on. Plus, I've already gotten a ton of loot from this. This is not a farm that you guys are going to want to miss out on. Again, you could download this exact world. It's the first link in the description. Leave a like and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. BlazedMC out.